Hey, hey, hey.
Ta-da!
Welcome to another episode of High Heels Happy Hour. I'm still Christina.
And I'm still Ingrid.
There you go. And we're still BFFs.
Yes, we still. Yeah, so making it.
Yes. So, how was your week?
Week was great.
Yeah. What was your highlight?
Highlight is, well, I don't know if I shared it, but I'm a part of the Veterans Council, which is huge.
Yeah.
Because I'm a part of the PTSD groups that are local in town.
Which we will talk more about in another episode.
And it's been really nice to be able to be that midline of, or that bridge that goes from veteran to a service that provides a lot of stuff. So I'm able to have that free highway for veterans to get what they need. And it's been really nice, or really rewarding, I should say, to be a part of that help.
I totally understand that. Or I know that. I see you.
Yeah.
Almost daily. So I know.
It's just been so heartwarming to not only say, hey, I can do this for you, to really see it happen.
Yeah.
It just makes it.
And not just be an ear that listens, but someone who has to actually do something.
It's been great. How about you?
So I think my highlight was that I got a facial from Ingrid.
Oh, yes.
It was so, and I got the, whatever you call it, take the peach fuzz off.
Oh, dermaplaning.
Yes. It was really good.
If y'all don't do dermaplaning, y'all are missing out.
It's just so smooth. Makeup goes on a lot
butter
without the peach fuzz. So yeah, I think that was my highlight.
That's a great highlight.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good.
And what is your life hack?
So this is something that I talked about. I actually did it on Fix My Style a couple of weeks ago, but it is something, and I still see things pop up, but it's just the smartest thing ever. Beginning of the year, or you should really do it every season, you should clean out the closet, because there's a lot in there you think you're going to wear one day, but you don't. So one of the easiest, best hacks ever, closet hacks ever, is usually, you hang your closet onto, or the hanger onto the rod with the end facing inwards. I want you to turn all your hangers around. Just turn the top around and hang them with the butt of the hanger facing outwards. Then when you wear it, and not just try it on, but wear it, you turn it and hang it back. Then you will see by a couple of months, or definitely a year, what clothes you actually wear in your closet. Ta-da! Mic drop. No, I won't drop the mic.
Yeah. I love that
idea.
Because then
then it's very visual what things you wear and what you don't. So yeah, that's my hack, and I'm sticking to it.
So we have this trend, without even talking about life hacks, visual. So my life hack, life hack is that if you're going to fix something or taking something apart, you take a picture before you take it apart. So
we've all been there, like, wait, how did it look before I ruined it?
I mean,
yes, that is a good idea.
I've done it, and I'm thinking, gosh, why didn't I think of this? So now that I know, is you'll have a visual preference or reference.
Yeah, that
on what it looks like.
Yeah, that's good.
So there you have it. 2 visual.
Because I think we all memorized the time we did something. We're like, wait, how did it actually work? Or where does this part go? Yeah. Okay. So we are super excited. We have a great guest for today, because we are continuing our productivity theme that we started last week. We talked a lot about accountability and habits. And today we're jumping into the systems portion of productivity, because the more we can automate and really get systems in place, the easier the work is for us. And today we are talking to none other than Mary Sue Dahill. And let me tell you a little bit about her. She is a hot mess tamer. I love that. Love that title. Hot Mess Tamer. And she helps ambitious entrepreneurs tame their marketing systems to get more clients.
think we
Sounds like
all could
something,
use
yeah.
that.
So using her all-in-one CRM and methods, her clients quickly go from scrambling for clients to a pipeline that never runs dry. She helps business coaches and consultants that were overwhelmed with their last launch streamline and automate so that they don't pull their hair out with their next launch or drop the ball on closing new clients. I mean, does this sound like something we all could use? I think so. So, yeah, this is the system of all systems. CRM is customer relationship management. And let us bring on the expert on the subject.
The drum roll.
Da-da. Welcome, Mary Sue.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
And I think automation is a productivity twist because it eliminates tasks.
that's true. Yes.
Gosh, that sounds
That's
so good.
yes. And let me tell you, when you get it working, because I use Mary Sue's system, and yeah, it makes life a lot easier. But I want you to dig in today and really talk about CRMs because our audience is mainly entrepreneurs, small business entrepreneurs, and this is something we all could use or get a little help with. And there are different levels, of course, depending on how big your company is and if you're starting or if you're continuing. But I want you to just step back and how did you start in this field? How did you end up doing what you're doing? Being
Yeah.
a hot mess tamer.
Well, I think I was always a hot mess tamer. One of my managers a long time ago said, what I like to do is to put you at the end of a fire hose and you can direct the water where it needs to go.
All right.
Yeah, so I've always had that skill, and I've always worked in technology. So I come from a software background, and when I started my own business, kind of doing technology management, I was really enjoying learning about all the cool tools available to solopreneur small business owners. And so I was automating things, having a good time, but my peers were really struggling. They didn't know how to pick it. They didn't know how to use it. They didn't know how to really make it integrate with their business and their customer journey.
Mhm.
So I decided to pivot and start helping solopreneurs do just that. And I've loved it ever since because you have such a big impact on the business owner's life, their business and their life.
Yes, and sometimes they got frantic text messages at odd hours where it says Mayday, Mayday. And they may or may not be from me.
I beg to differ.
Exactly. Everyone has like that Mayday they need, and I do try to provide the personalized support so that you're not stuck talking to a robot in chat.
Yeah, no, that's really super valuable. I know I'm trying not to, overextend your generosity and kindness, but oh well.
But that is the
It's
perfect title, Hot Mess
Hot Mess Tamer.
Tamer.
Yes,
So
that's a good title.
Yeah.
So let's just step back because I think most of our audience is probably familiar with CRMs, but let's just pretend like we don't know what CRM is.
Yeah. So CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management, and it actually means two things. One, it is simply a process for managing your relationships. So you don't need software to manage your relationships. You simply have to have a process for doing it. And then it does also stand for the software itself, which is a way of, the software does a lot of things to help you manage and automate your customer experience.
Yeah.
So minimum what's in there is like just a list of your contacts and all the information you have about them. And then depending on what your product is that you're using, you can, email, text, and automate workflows.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important to point out. You can start the process without buying into to technology or software or signing up. It's just finding the
Yeah,
process.
you can start with a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I think something to point out is that a lot of people think when they come to software that the software tells them how to manage their clients, and that's not really true. You should
I was
already
getting
have
ready
a
to say,
way.
come on, man. Oh, that is
Yeah.
correct. Yes. So tell us just some of the common problems entrepreneurs have that a CRM can solve.
Yeah. So the main thing is that as you start your business, you purchase small tools. And so now you have a few different tools and one might be your email marketing like MailChimp, one might be a calendar system like Calendly, and then you have a couple others. A landing page like Lead Pages, and you have your customer data across all three of those apps. And so you don't actually have a mailing list that's complete, and you don't have a way of following up and tracking who you should be following up with. So that is one problem, is that you have information about contacts all over the place and you have no one place of record that you can go to take action on.
Yeah, that's been there, done that.
Yeah.
So why would you say is it so important? One of the, of course, it kind of is the other side of flip side of the coin, but why is it so important for entrepreneurs to think about this early on, maybe in their journey? And if they haven't already, why is it so important to really?
Yeah, so I do specialize in solopreneurs or really small businesses. So it is kind of like, why do I need this? But in today's world, your customer expects a certain level of sophistication in the way that they work with you. You
Mhm.
cannot send a PDF file and have them type their credit card number onto it, for example.
Yeah,
There are other things like that where they're expecting you to have, payment process that is just automated, that they can contact you through email or text. And so you have to be sophisticated to the level that your customer is expecting it. And also, if you're using your tools right, it can save you personally time, but also money. And so that you're not paying an admin to paper push, where they're filling out data in one system and putting it into another, or printing out material and typing it in somewhere else. Like,
yeah,
yeah. So it's a money saver in the long run, even though, if you're just looking at the cost of it, you're not really seeing the total value of it.
yeah, yeah. Money and time saver, absolutely. I can just look for my own business standpoint. It really, I mean, if I had to do all those things manually, we would not have had this podcast. Let's just put it. Um, and and what would you say to someone that is not currently using a CRM, or what should entrepreneurs look for when choosing one? What are some of the most kind of important?
Right. Well, my biggest thing is that you should have as few pieces of software as possible, because when you're a small business owner, logging into, as I said before, your email marketing, your calendar, and your lead pages and your website, like all of those require different passwords. They operate differently, and knowing how to make them work together is all on you in that case. So look for tools that are all in one, and there are tons of solutions out there like that. My system is an all-in-one solution as well, which I call Work Smarter CRM, just for reference. But there are other ones like that, and they do cost a little bit more because they have more features, but that will, in the long run, make everything much easier, because you'll be able to contact support and they're there to help you actually make it all work together.
Yeah,
So one of my clients, is an acting coach. And when the pandemic happened, she had to let go of her assistant because Hollywood shut down.
Mm.
And so she totally didn't have any business at the beginning of the pandemic. And her assistant was the one that made all of her software work together. And when she was trying to do it, she was so frustrated because she would call each software app for support and they didn't care if their tool really worked.
Of course. Yeah.
So she was stuck for a couple of months because she couldn't make progress that way, and that's why she went to an all-in-one. So, um, that's the biggest thing that I suggest people look for is a tool that does more than one thing, and has a good way of getting assistance from the company itself.
Yeah. And kind of all in one, also looking at your business and what is the need you have. Because I will say, I started with a free service. I think I started with MailChimp because at the time I didn't know I needed it all. But at the time, I just needed to combine my contacts into one place
Right.
and being able to send out emails that had tags on them. So yes, don't you agree that at least starting somewhere is better than
Yeah, I think you should definitely look at free tools. Um, Once you start paying for tools, that's when maybe you should consider looking for an all-in-one solution.
Mhm.
So most of my clients come to me when they're using when they're paying for 3 to 5 different tools,
Yep.
because then the cost of the all-in-one system might be a little more, but it's not much.
Yep. Yeah, that was me. I used Calendly. I paid for that. I had used a bunch of different ones. Or yeah, and I just it's not a lot, but a little adds up. So when you had it all in one, it just made. And again, your time is worth something too. So just time it saved me is worth a lot.
Yes, I will say my one caveat is HubSpot has a free CRM,
Okay.
which is totally fine to start with, but going up into their paid levels
Hmm.
for solopreneurs, it just doesn't make sense. And I feel like their marketing to solopreneurs is just yucky because of that. You can go into their $50 a month one, but that's basically a MailChimp. But you can't go up further than that because then it becomes several $100s a month.
Oh,
Um,
so they get you. They hook you
yeah,
in.
they hook you in. Because it's
Oh,
really more for, like, larger companies, so just be aware of that. It's not that it's bad place to start, but it's probably not where you're going to grow into.
yeah. So what would you say? I mean, someone who has a couple of larger moving, what are some of the more advanced features if you have a larger company that a CRM can do? Any?
Well, I don't even think you have to be larger. I just think if you want so the more advanced features are, um your follow-up sequence. It could be very simple stuff, so you have an opt-in. Do you have then an email drip sequence that is really telling your brand story? Do you have a prospect like reminder sequence for yourself, even if you don't send them anything, to go prompt you to follow up with them?
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
I need to add that.
because we all talk to a prospect and they're like, "Oh, not right now," or "Call me back in a month," and
Yeah,
I'm terrible at follow-up. So I try to make the systems help me do that better, but we're all bad at it.
yeah. And I think one of my biggest aha moments with starting with a proper CRM was the funnels, like the email, like you were talking about the sequences and the funnels and how you can build the customer journey. Because
Mhm.
before it was me sending out emails and trying to remember who I sent what to. But now when you can kickstart something, a lead magnet they come into, and then you have a email sequence that really introduces them to you and your company. And then, of course, they can always opt out. Um,
Right, they can totally opt out, but it's
but that,
a lot of businesses don't have any kind of a welcome series, and
yeah,
so they miss out on that opportunity to educate them about themselves.
yeah. No, that was
I don't have that.
okay. Well, it's gonna happen. She's gonna get some
Mary
kind
Please
of
talk, Ingrid.
Yeah. Also, too, what I wanted to just say, you know, I recently kind of branched or enhanced what I do, and I'm really great at follow up, but I would really love help because I find myself, I know what a follow up. My follow up is pretty great, but I would love it if it was a little easier.
or
You know,
Well,
automatic. Yeah.
automatic. Even though I do have, you know, things that remind me, okay, this person is due for a follow up. Just having that already easy to set up, because even if I know it needs a follow up, I physically have to go
do it.
in
Yeah.
and set it up. So
well, it sounds like you'd be the perfect person to automate, because the person that has like a checklist, this is what I do manually, makes it so much easier to automate their system. So
No.
you might be ready for it, Ingrid.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I was ready for it. You're ready for it. It's solo for you, especially when you don't have staff to do everything for you. I think that's when you really need it to be
because I
organized.
know what I need, so I
Yeah.
got it.
Yep.
So I don't need staff. But I think listening to this, I'm like, that would be awesome if I
Yeah.
had, you know, and with what I do in enhancing, because I know I have so much to offer. I'm like, gosh, sometimes I'm like, didn't I tell you I did that?
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't tell you what I do. So it sounds really cool.
Yes, and I should have mentioned, I don't know if you could see it over here, but I did publish a book called The Boutique Effect, and that goes through how do you integrate automation into your business, and then it actually has recipes on the second half of the book, or like what I call recipes, like your automation recipes. What goes into a welcome email series? What goes into an event registration process?
So we will have links to that.
Yes.
It's an ebook, or is it a physical?
It's a physical book, or you could do a Kindle.
Oh. I'm gonna want that. So what would you say is the most popular reason, or the most popular feature why solopreneurs jump into CRM?
Let's see. I think it's the sales funnel, honestly. You know, like they usually have, I'm putting on an event, I'm launching a program, I need my sales page, I need my registration or order page, and I need the confirmation and the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to personally say that the funnel, so the sales, funnel, but also for me, the landing pages for lead.
I love those too. Those are my favorite.
Those are by far my favorite. So you can do, instead of having buying a bunch of domains, you have lead or landing pages that are connected to your website, or connected to the system, that you can create a bunch of different lead magnets that you can post on social or give to people, and it collects they get a free PDF. Those most of my lead magnets are PDFs. And then, but it captures their email address, so then they come into your world and get introduced to you. And again, if they don't want to stay in your world, they can opt out.
Yep.
Unsubscribe button right there.
No,
But
we
it
don't have that
really
button.
is that I think is phenomenal. Actually, I didn't have the button to start with because I forgot to put it there. Not good client service. No, it should be. It's not good customer management. And but no, I think I can create, as many landing pages as I want, as many lead magnets as I want, and have it all in one place. And then you can see how a customer or prospective customer comes into your world or your system on your email list.
That's cool.
And you see how they ended up there, so you know if it was that lead magnet or that. I think that's my favorite.
Yes, and I think when you have, like, different products or whatever, it makes it harder to connect all those dots, or you have, like, limitations on size based on what you're paying for, whereas, when it's all in one, usually you don't have as many limitations, so
Yeah.
sky's the limit, as, inventive as you are.
Yeah. So that's one thing. One of my goals for 2023 is to move, because I have a digital course that we talked about before, which is now on a different platform. It's on the mastermind platform, but I'm moving it to, because now I can post it within my CRM. So I'm moving that over, which is
That's right.
not hard. It just takes a little time and thought process, but it's one of my goals. So hold myself. You can hold me accountable to that for that.
All right.
So it's coming over. So any cool, can you look in the glass bowl, and or what do you call it? The
Magic ball.
yes, magic 8 ball, whatever.
Yeah.
And future, what do you think some cool new CRM features coming out? What does the future
Yes.
hold?
Well, if I think you're going to share my 2023 CRM trends report.
We can't
So
wait.
I think
Yeah,
yes.
that will be in,
Um, the biggest thing is text messaging. And that I this is not marketing the way I'm using it, but I have my system includes a phone, so you can have your business phone and the text messaging. There's a lot of new regulations around the text part, so you have to register your business and all that kind of fun stuff. So I sent an email about it yesterday. I think I got 1 or 2 responses. I then sent a text message today. I got lots of responses. So text marketing especially, the open rate is significantly higher than an email. As you can imagine, I think what it says is within 2 minutes of receiving a text, somebody's going to look at it.
yeah.
That is not the case with your email. And then if you include a link, I think it's a 20 to 30% click rate from a text message, where it's like 2 to 5% in an email. So the impact of using text is much higher. You do have to opt people into text. But I mean, just the connection and engagement is radically different than an email. So that's one thing I would look at incorporating into your business in 2023.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that when you go in. Used to be that the pop-ups on websites were put in your email and you get 10% off. Now there's an additional saying put in your phone number,
Phone
you
number.
get another 10% off. So yeah, I'm
Ooh.
seeing that a lot more, where you have the dual options and you save a lot more money if you give the text or give both. Because I do think email still, it's not dying. It's still, email lists are important. But I see the text really.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
get.
when you're supposed to have 8 to 12 touches to a person before they buy,
Mhm.
email, text, postcards, also another great way. Like, make it in social media, make it multidimensional, because people respond to you in different mediums.
See, that goes back to the personality traits, and you know the disc system, Mary Sue. I know.
Mhm.
Uh, that's true. If it touch them in different ways, not literally.
Yeah. Yes.
That's true. Yes, as many different ones as you can do. That's great. Yep, love that. Any other future predictions?
Yeah, the other is mobile. So more and more CRM solutions have a mobile app. So since we're solopreneurs and we're all moms here, I think, right, Ingrid?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We're out and about dealing with our kids, taking them to events. If your system does not have an app, it does make it harder to stay up on what's going on. So when you have the mobile app, you can update their contact, you can add notes, you can send them something through it. So the mobile app makes it works with your lifestyle much more than if it doesn't. And so it also ensures that your data is more accurate, because you can't, it's right there.
Yep, that's true.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, are you dying to get a CRM
I'm
now?
kind of just thinking it's and then so for emails, so when you say the recipe, you kind of go over what kind of a welcome email should look like.
Yes, I say, you need 6 emails, and in email 1, your goal is this, and your call to action should be something like this. So it kinda gives you instructions on what content to include in each email.
Okay.
I followed her recipe. My sequence, just so you know.
Yes, and that's where I'm a little different. I'm like, gosh, I have to follow a recipe. I'm like,
No,
I
it's
usually
just the call to action, kind of what to include, and then you can put in whatever
You can do whatever you want. It's really, obviously a suggestion, but I try to touch on all the pieces that you need to consider because a lot of business owners, especially women, I think are less comfortable with asking for the sale or asking them to take action. So I do talk about that in all the emails just to remind you that you should invite them to work with you.
And also, I mean, I think one of my pet peeves right now is when you friend someone on Facebook and right away you get a sales message in your
Yeah.
in Messenger. I think that's just rude. I mean, I don't know you yet. We just became friends. You can't date me already. That's not. Or you can't marry you. We haven't dated yet. So
Yeah.
yes, I think they need to don't expect to sell right away. People need to be in your world,
yeah.
in your space a
Mhm.
little before
Yes.
they
And your call to action could be a lot of things. It can be
yeah.
scheduling an appointment, it could be downloading another cool
Mhm.
case study you've done, it could be purchasing your course. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
Sounds really cool. No,
So good, right? Your brain is
my wheels are
wheels are
turning.
turning. Okay,
No, I
that's
think
good.
we've talked about it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I'm a
just
huge fan of my CRM and huge fan of course, since I'm a client. Mary Sue, I love that system. I've only used free and a bunch of different paid ones before. I used MailChimp that was free, but it really only did emails. But then I to have it all in one place is really it's
and I have a question. How is it with like junk mail? Because sometimes I've used MailChimp, I've used Candidly, I've used um, numerous things and kind of figuring out how to separate them. If I send it from here, sometimes it goes into junk or spam. Like how is the CRM different from that? Or
yeah. Well, depending on which software you use, most people, when you're using MailChimp or a lot of other ones, you're really piggybacking off of the email reputation of the software.
okay.
So that's why MailChimp's been around a long time and people have used it poorly. So it will probably be more likely to end up in spam.
Okay.
With my system, we connect directly to your domain. So it's your email reputation, just you. So it has a much higher likelihood of hitting their inbox. Now it may be on the promotion tab or the social tab, but um, it has a lower likelihood of hitting the spam. And spam happens for a lot of different reasons.
spam happens. But
Yeah, spam happens, like, that's a whole topic if you wanted to.
but that's also a reason why doing different touch points, like why texting is so much more efficient because there's no spam in
Okay.
Yeah,
texting
exactly.
or postcards. Yeah.
Good to
Well,
know.
this was so good and so exciting, and I'm gonna start moving over that digital course
Yes,
now.
because you said it.
So,
We
yes, I've said it here.
loud and clear.
Everyone heard
So
it. Yes.
Mary Sue,
Yeah.
Yes, you can't back out now. I do recall talking about that many
Yes.
months ago.
I know, but it was not a goal back then.
It
So,
wasn't goal, yep.
prioritized. Now it's a goal. So we got it. Talking about last week, identifying, doing the SMART goal and the 7 reasons why and all that. Yes, it will happen. So, Mary Sue, how can people reach you, connect with you?
Yes.
right after the
Well,
chat.
so my website is Work Smarter Digital, and my handle on Instagram is also Work Smarter Digital, or on Facebook. And you can link in with me with my main profile. And then I think we're going to link to both the 2023 CRM trends in the show notes,
Yeah.
and I'll also include the Boutique Effect book, which I think is a great place to start if you haven't.
Yes, we will have all those links in the show notes and on the website too, on the High Heels Happy Hour website. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for being on today and enlightening us with tech and systems.
You're
That was
welcome.
neat. And I don't know if you have a glass, but until next time.
Starbucks.
So,
Cheers.
cheers.